Blue 22.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Yeah, baby. We are live. We are live. On Friday morning, it is 10:19. I said on Facebook we'd be going live at 10:15. That's pretty darn close. I should have said ish. I just should have said ish. And I would have made it right. All right with the world then. But we have a lot to talk about today. But first, I am one of your hosts. My name is Shane.
I'm Brian. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. It's Friday. We're getting ready to go on the weekend. Always exciting, to just see how your weekend unfolds. It's always way too short, but enjoy it while it's here because
it could be your last one. I didn't know where you were going with that. It sounded morbid.
Just enjoy it while it's here because it gets over short. That's all. It's just over short. It's not. You don't get a 4-day weekend like my kids did last weekend, where you had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's not. Doesn't happen every week. So enjoy the 2 days you have off. But we have a lot of sports to talk about today, and I really need to get into some of this stuff because I have some audio clips here too. And I think that these audio clips are pretty good. I'm going to probably cut them off. I'll cut some of them off early because they're not short. One, I'm going to play the whole thing. That is the big Papi clip. I'm definitely going to play that whole thing for those that didn't hear that. But we have a lot to talk about with the MLB. There's more drama unfolding in the MLB with the players, more players coming out taking shots at the Astros. The Astros, the only one that's really spouting off at the mouth right now is Correa. And he really needs to shut up and just apologize. Stop talking about, the people that didn't do it, the people that did do it. Just be quiet and apologize and be remorseful. Don't come out being angry that the league is upset with you. They should be upset with you. So anyway. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into Big Papi, Big Phony, as Brian Man likes to call him, because he actually came out and, in my opinion, became even more transparent with calling Fiers a snitch. And I don't think it's in a good way. And the Yankees also starting their next man up awfully early this year. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, I have my thoughts on it. Actually, one of my buddies, Mark, texted me yesterday complaining. I think it was yesterday. It might have been the day before. He was really upset about how the spring training is unfolding for the Yankees, and I kind of had a different opinion. But we'll get into that, and we're also going to talk about the NFL, how the owners ratified CBA, and the players are on deck to talk about it, and J.J. Watt already comes out and gives his opinion on it. So we're going to see how this all unfolds.
And Richard Sherman followed him along. So, yep.
Did he? Pull up that tweet so we can read it later.
I have it. I have them both.
All right, because I have the. Well, you don't really even need to say that much. J.J. Watt just kind of went hard. He said it hard now. That's what he said. So that's where we're at. But we're going to get into all that. We're going to talk about it right now. We're going to start off with the MLB right out the gate because this is drama. I wish I had like dramatic music that I could play in the background right now. I don't have it. Wasn't prepared for that. But more players are coming and taking shots. But the first thing I want to get into, because I think let's start off the show with some fire, some vigor. I want to see something out of the Bry Man bright and early here because Big Phony comes out and is very transparent with calling Fiers a snitch. And I am going to play right now what he said in the media. And you guys tell me what you guys think about all this, because I know what I have. I know my opinion on it. I think a similar opinion to Brian Man. We try not to discuss these things ahead of time because we kind of want to feed off of each other a little here. So I'm going to be listening to what the Brian Man has to say. And then, maybe I'll start off first because mine's not going to be quite as long. I have a feeling Brian Man might go off on a bit of a tangent. I'm not probably going to say a few F-bombs because this is a show that's not suited for kids, not suitable for work. all that NSFW. So we're going to get into it with David Ortiz, 2-minute clip right now. And here we go. That's an advertising. Oh, come on. Come on, Shane. What's the matter with you? YouTube and your advertisements. All right.
You got a case of the Mondays on a Friday.
The picture that came out talking about it, and let me tell you why. Oh, after you make your money, after you get your ring, you decide to talk about it? Why don't you talk about it during the season when it was going on? Why you didn't say, I don't want to be no part of? Oh, now. So you look like a snitch. You know what I mean? Why you got to talk about it after? That's my problem, you know. Why nobody say anything while it was going on? People is not stupid. You know, like if I heard that, if I'm a fan that come to that stadium every home game like we have, at some point I'm gonna hear that banging, and I'm talking about as a fan, okay? And they're gonna come out. How come there's this banging going on every time we are hitting? You know, like it was something that it was, from what I have seen, seemed like it was something that it came to the point that it was obvious, too obvious. You know what I'm saying?
All right, that's I don't need to get into the whole thing because that's pretty much where he ends. And there's a couple of topics here that I just want to kind of really focus on. One, him calling out Mike Fiers. Mike Fiers being the pitcher who kind of blew this whole thing.
He's
open.
the whistleblower.
He's the one that blew this thing open. And he says you make your money and then you go somewhere else and you say something. Why don't you say something while you're there, saying like I'm not going to be a part of this? Well, Big Phony. The problem is with that. If you do that and you're in the clubhouse, then you're going to be ostracized, or you are going to be basically blackballed from the MLB because you're in a clubhouse. You come out in the media and you say something there, you're going to be thrown in so much there's going to be so much. You're going to have like death threats.
Yes, your family will be threatened. You'll be threatened. All of it.
Absolutely crazy. Now, the other thing is, things are obvious. For instance, how you performed in Minnesota to Boston. That is something that's very obvious to me. You went from kind of a average hitter to, more of an opposite field kind of like gap guy to a prolific Hall of Fame track home run hitter. Whatever. It's fine. That's what it is. You got away with it. You had kind of one blip on the radar where there was possibly a steroids test that was maybe positive and all that kind of stuff. But regardless of that, shut up. Just be quiet, because what you're talking about is like yes, I understand you're trying to be in buddy with all your friends in the MLB, and he's talking about Correa. He talks about Correa later, about how he believes him and Altuve and all that stuff. Okay. Dude, just be quiet. Just be quiet. You're an idiot. An absolute moron. And to tell Mike Fiers to do something like that while he's playing in the Houston Astros, you cannot. That is, talk about, you have normal peer pressure in a regular situation, in a regular life. In just a regular life, you have peer pressure, and that's with employees that you're with, and that's other things. And it can be difficult to navigate. In a clubhouse with multimillionaires everywhere, all have egos and they all have this arrogance about them. And then you're going to try and do that in the clubhouse. Like, yeah, you can come out to them in the clubhouse and say, hey, you guys can't do this. I don't want any part of it. But what's going to happen then? They're just going to be like, no. Well, then you can say, I'm going to go to the media. Then they'll be like, okay, well, then we're going to beat the crap out of you. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, these are all professional athletes, and the fans are probably crazier than the athletes in most cases. It's just a stupid remark, and I would hope that most people feel that way, especially with the career that he had. What do you think? I'll let you get into it, because that's all I really have to say about it.
I mean, what do you big fucking surprise. One cheater came to the aid of another. Are we really surprised that David Ortiz, who, I'm sorry, listen, I don't care if he only failed one test and then he was tested for 13 straight years after and never failed another one. I don't care. His name was on the list. He showed up. He was outed. And that's going to stick with him. And you know what? We will find out come Hall of Fame time whether or not he gets in. If he gets in on the first ballot, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked and appalled. But this is one, I'm sorry. If you're David Ortiz, you got to fucking sit this one out, man. You and A-Rod and anyone else who has any sort of tie whatsoever to anything PED related has to sit this out. To quote The Rock, know your role and shut your mouth. Because this is one hill that David Ortiz should not be willing to die on. Now, I guess the only good thing about it is that if you're going to be David Ortiz and possibly have a history of cheating, I guess it's best that you came to the aid of the cheater and didn't go after the Astros, because that might have even been like worse. That might have been more hypocritical. Like if David Ortiz himself cheated the game and then actually went after the cheaters, that might have been worse. At least he's it's just like it's like a cheater supporting cheaters, AA group or something. I mean, at least he's helping his fellow cheaters out. He's coming to their aid. I'm sorry, David Ortiz has not earned the right to speak on this subject. Just as I would say Alex Rodriguez has not earned that right, or Roger Clemens, or Mark McGuire, or Rafael Palmeiro, or Jose Canseco, or Barry Bonds, or anybody who may have at any point been implicated in steroid use.
Pete Rose too?
I mean, I wouldn't want Pete Rose. I mean, listen, what Pete Rose did, it's a different thing. But I wouldn't want Pete Rose talking about this either. I mean, Pete Rose just in general needs to shut his mouth. He's just done enough damage to him. All that guy ever does is hurt himself by opening his mouth.
Yep.
He's never going to get back into baseball. He's never going to get into the Hall of Fame. He might as well just keep quiet. You know what? If you're Pete Rose, here's what you do. Go to your autograph shows, sign your autographs, go to Cooperstown every year for the Hall of Fame induction, sign your autographs there. You set up your little booth where you charge $50 to $75 to sign a ball, whatever. Hey, I even have a ball signed by Pete Rose. And the inscription on it is, "I'm sorry I bet on baseball, Pete Rose." It's one of my favorite pieces of memorabilia. But seriously, if you're David Ortiz, you cannot. Big Phony cannot jump into this conversation. He can't. Come on, man. You can't do it. I don't know if Alex Rodriguez has spoken about this yet at all, but I wonder if he's smart enough to at least know not to do it. I mean, I haven't heard Ryan Braun speak about it. If you've got a history of cheating in any way, shape, or form, you got to sit this one out, man. You have to. I'm sorry. You can't do it. And I'm not going to use any more time to dive deeper into the history of David Ortiz. We all know where I stand on that. We all know where others stand on that. I'm not going to go there. We don't need to retrace those steps. All I'm saying is, if you're David Ortiz, back off of this one. This is not your fight, and you have not earned the right, in my opinion, to speak about this particular subject. That's all I have to say.
All right. I like it. I'm in the process of putting stuff on Twitter. So, yeah. That's that. Other than that, yeah, I'm in 100% agreement, because this is just a terrible look for him, for Fox Network that hired him. Not a great look. You don't want
a bad optic.
You don't want to defend the cheaters here, because you can't. You defend the cheaters.
Well,
you're taking the side of a cheater.
Not when the likes of some of baseball's most reputable faces right now. Okay, I have said in the past, right, that I believe the three faces of baseball are Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, and Mookie Betts. Mm-hmm. Two of those individuals, Mike Trout and Aaron Judge, have spoken now about this, and quite vehemently against the Astros. And what's shocking about that is, if you think about the kind of individuals that they are, this is very out of character for them. And they were passionate, not angry, but they were passionate about what they said. And
Aaron
those
Judge
are
basically
two-
said that he took back his congratulations to Altuve.
Yep.
He
Yep.
also said that probably they should have to give up the trophy. Like those
Yeah.
are the things that he said in his
Yeah.
interview, and he kind of
I'm
even and it
shocked
wasn't like a pre-planned thing that for him to come
No.
out. He basically was he took a deep breath and thought about it,
Yeah.
and it was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, should be taken away.
Yep. And Trout,
I still haven't even heard Trout's. Like I saw it all over the place, but I hadn't heard it because I just knew like everybody knew what he said.
End of the day, both of these guys,
Mm-hmm.
two of the three faces of baseball have spoken out against this. Now, Mookie Betts would be an interesting one because I don't know if he would because he was on the Red Sox in 2018 and that punishment still has not been handed down. That it's still an open investigation there.
It's tough.
So we don't know.
That's a tough one too. I mean, when you're involved in something like that and they had been caught cheating, doing other things, like you can't. It's tough to really say, "Oh, you're such a bad person."
I have a feeling, and I'm
tough.
gonna rescind what I've said in the past. I have a feeling that the Red Sox are gonna get off easy on this one. I think, and my reason for saying that is baseball, especially Rob Manfred, has already seen now that the damage that this has done in terms of player backlash, fan backlash, media backlash, social media blowing up over this over the last few weeks. It's the first topic that comes up on every sports radio show right now. So he's seeing the backlash. If he resets this again with baseball set to start in less than a month, or in a little over a month, excuse me. If he resets this again by doling out some punishment on the Red Sox, you're going right through the cycle again. And it's going to lead right up until first pitch of the regular season on March 26th. And I will tell you right now, he does not want that. So I suspect that whatever little slap on the hand he gave them a couple of years ago is probably not going to be much more than that. Now, keep in mind,
I would think it'd be different. I think
Dombrowski's already gone, and Alex Cora is already gone. So he.
I would think that was different.
I don't know.
I think it's the other way around. I think because there's such a big backlash and nothing's been done, he almost has to. He's almost handcuffed to the point of where he has to punish them because he gave the Astros immunity. Now you have to do something to the Red Sox because I don't know what the immunity is there. I don't know what he's done for immunity if he's given them at all. So that's the problem. That's the big problem with the Astros players why he can't punish them. Now there's still an investigation going on going forward, but as far as that 2017 goes, he can't punish the players. He can punish the players by taking away the trophy.
Yeah.
But,
yes. Which he should have done, by the way. I really believe now that
then he went out.
I know.
Then he came out in the media and said that the trophy's just a piece of metal.
A piece of metal.
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
At first I was like, he seemed like he was going to be kind of hard. Like he was going to be kind of like a tough on. Yeah, kind of tough. He's been such a puss.
Oh, he's a soft.
He's so soft.
He's soft.
Yeah, he's just like,
he
terrible.
might make Roger Goodell look good.
Ugh.
He's not a good commissioner.
It's bad.
He's really not.
It's been a bad start to him.
It's
been really bad.
I don't know if he's Gary Bettman bad, but he's not a good commissioner at all. He really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's rough. I think the Red Sox might get nicked a little bit more. I think it might go a step further. Like they might get a little bit harsher of a punishment than they probably should have gotten. But with the MLB, they always try and just like.
I don't know. I have
things under the rug. And
I
move
really
on.
have a feel. Well, that's the NFL's thing, especially with like PEDs and
the NFL can get away with it though.
The NFL, they can because they make a ridiculous amount of money, and their owners are all these happy old white dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna say that the Red Sox might slide off easy here.
I hope not. I hope
not either.
I hope the Astros get knocked pretty hard.
Right, and
coming out with this new era investigation.
I mean, I want the Red Sox to get punished too. Here's the one thing I am going to say though now, and I'm gonna say this with maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to say it with a little more definitively than I would have thought before, because I don't know what the Yankees may or may not have done, but at this point. You've got Yankees speaking out about this. You've got the face of the Yankees speaking out about this. At this point, I really do have to wonder if the Yankees did anything bad.
Well,
because I can't imagine Aaron Judge being that dumb Aaron Boone has also so you've had the manager of the Yankees and the face of the Yankees.
It's funny
Aaron
that you say that.
And Aaron Boone have both now spoken out against the Astros and pretty definitively and pretty poignantly. They've been pretty harsh in what they said. I find it very hard to believe
and
they would be so stupid as to make comments like they did if they were doing something similar at any point in time.
I would be remiss if I did not play this clip, because there was a clip where Joe Girardi was talking about the Astros and all that kind of stuff and how you cheat in baseball. And he had a little bit of a Freudian slip.
Okay, so let's hear it. I have not heard this yet.
You have not heard it yet. So
no.
I just wanted you to hear it. Listen clearly to when he talks about when the signal comes down to the bench. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go.
Joe Girardi.
Hold on.
Listen to the sweet sounds of Joe Girardi.
Some teams might turn their back. Who knows?
So what did you guys use?
Right. Yeah. So you got to worry about it. And sometimes you got to worry about just how it's being relayed. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was part of a system where it came from upstairs to someone in the dugout to the guy at second base. And we eventually caught it.
To the hitter. That's what he was saying.
Well, he said to the hit.
And
then he said to the guy at second base.
Yeah.
So he was basically saying, and that is typically something that was done a lot in baseball, where it would come up from upstairs, it would come down to him or somebody in the dugout, and they would relay the sign to the guy at second base.
Second, right.
But he had the Freudian slip.
He did.
Freudian slip where he said hitter instead of saying second base.
Yeah.
Which, with it being on your mind, you could see how that might...
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
You might have a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
He's a very smart guy. Whether, we give him some issues sometimes, but he's a smart guy. I don't think that they did that, but we'll find out eventually. And until then, and even if they did, I have no problems coming at them too. Because that's just who I came at A-Rod pretty hard. He was on our team for years.
We both can't stand him.
We both came after Aroldis Chapman after his domestic issues. We both went after Domingo Germán after his issues. We go after everyone.
Yes.
And that would be something that we would go after the Yankees for, and be very disappointed in the organization if they did that.
Let me be as clear about this as I possibly can. Sports is not... It is trivial in the sense of where you compartmentalize it in your life, but sports is real. It's not fake. This isn't wrestling, okay? Sports is real. And I hold my teams and their players to very high accountability standards. It's just the way I am. That is the person that I am, and that's what I believe in. Be accountable. If I fuck up at work, I am the first one to say to my boss, I fucked up, sorry, my responsibility, it won't happen again, or I'll correct the problem. Accountability is like the easiest thing in life. And also, it's very good for you mentally. There's a lot of catharsism it's very cathartic to be accountable in life. It really helps you not feel guilty about things. I highly recommend, if you have the means, I highly recommend it, okay?
That's how this show became what it is.
Because
the Bry Man wanted to be very cathartic about sports, getting it all out in the air.
But as fans, we should be. I'll tell you what. This is not a joke. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last show, but here's where I am right now in terms of teams that the Bry Man hates. Number one, and will always be number one. No one will ever knock the Patriots off of that pedestal. Never. It cannot be done. I don't care what comes out about the Red Sox or what else comes out about the Astros. Nothing will ever knock those
for those that are listening, who is your favorite team to hate? That's what I want to know. I want to know. Damien's listening right now. When I posted that Girardi clip, he went, "Hey-o!"
And there was a time when I thought I would never hate any team in my life more than the Boston Red Sox. I now realize that the New England Patriots will forever hold that title. That belongs to them. Congratulations. You are the all-time champions of my vitriol and hatred.
That could change with
number two.
If the Patriots.
It would be very hard. It would be very, very
When
hard.
Belichick leaves and
number
Brady's
two,
gone.
Now 2 and 3 are current. They're more current because this will eventually flip flop, and eventually the team that is number 2 will kind of fall off the list. But the Houston Astros are the number 2 team right now.
Wow.
And it's not just because of what they've done, but their fan base is the biggest bunch of fucking assholes on the face of the planet. If you go on Twitter, oh my God, I can't stand these fuckers. Astro fans are 10 times, at least currently they seem to be, no, they're not 10 times worse. They are on par with Patriot fans. Completely unaccountable. All they want to do is turn it. You know what they're doing? They're doing the whole what Donald Trump supporters do. They're doing the whole, well, what about this? What about that? They do the whataboutisms, right? They try to turn it around on you and say, oh, well, you're an angry Yankee fan. What about A-Rod? What about Clemens? What about this guy? You know, David Justice and Mike Stanton and anybody else who was accused or found to have, you know, been on steroids. What about all that crap? You know what I mean? I'm sorry. And then number 3, of course, is the Boston Red Sox. But you know, they're always going to be on that list. They're either going to be 1 or 2 no matter what. But that's just because I'm a Yankee fan.
Right.
Now, the Patriots one has really nothing to do with me being a Dolphin fan. It just has to do with the way they've conducted their organization and the accountability of their fans. But just like why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for fans? Listen, I take stuff personally. Okay, we all take things personally. But why do fans take it so personally when it comes to their team? If somebody wants to point a finger in my face and say, you rooted for the New York Yankees, and in 1999 and in the year 2000, they had known cheaters on their team. Yeah, you're right. It sucks. I fucking hate it. Mm-hmm. I fucking hate it, and I do believe that in some ways those titles are tarnished. I have no question about it. That's called accountability. It's really not that fucking hard. Give it a try. Practice it in front of a mirror if you have to. It's really easy to do. Being accountable is not hard. I'm sorry. It's just not. And why are you taking it so personally? If you're a Red Sox fan and someone says Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz are cheaters, or if you're a Patriot fan and you say the whole fucking organization is a bunch of cheaters. If you're an Astros fan, Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa and Alec Bregman and the whole fucking lot of them are all a bunch of cheaters. Why do you care? Why do you take that so personally? I'm not saying you're the cheater. I'm saying your team is. Just be like, yeah, they did it. It sucks. I fucking hate it. Why is it hard? I don't
Everybody's always on the defensive.
But why? It's your sports team. This isn't life and death.
Yeah.
It's just your sports team.
Go after your team. Expect better.
When the Dolphins had what was the big scandal there with Richie Incognito? Whatever gate. I forgot what gate it was called. Oh, man, I trashed them. I trashed the Dolphins so hard. I said they needed to fire everybody. I said the owner, I think Ross at the time was actually still the owner. Mm-hmm. I was like, he needs to completely clean house. He needs to get rid of the GM. He needs to get rid of the head coach. He needs to get rid of whatever players were involved. I was screaming from the mountaintops about how pissed I was about that. Because Richie Incognito and, oh, God, who was the guy that he actually, like, the guy that he, I can't remember the name. I can't even remember the name of the guy, the other offensive, he was like a guard or an offensive tackle or a center. I can't remember who he was. But I remember thinking, like, they need to gut this organization because this is just an absolute train wreck. It was such a black eye on the organization. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get why sports fans can't be accountable for the actions of their teams. It's not a personal reflection on you. The only time it becomes a personal reflection on you is when you deny it and you're brazenly defiant about it. Mm-hmm. Then I do believe it is a reflection on you, which is why I think most Patriot fans in real life are scumbags. I think they're bad people. I think the ones who are okay with it and say it's not a problem, I believe they're bad human beings, and I have said this before, they should not reproduce. Please keep your fucking monster sperm inside your body. And we have enough monsters roaming the quiet country. We don't need your rotten fucking children running around and making life worse. We got enough problems on this planet. Keep your dick in your pants if you're a Patriot fan and you're okay with cheating, okay? Just fucking stop.
Keep it to shower babies?
Yeah, fine. Yes.
All right.
I just can't deal with it, man.
All right. So just to end it on this, I just want to leave us with one clip because the Bry Man loves this guy. And now I think he might propose. And that is a clip from the one and the only quiet man himself. Very quiet usually. Mr. Nick Markakis.
Oh, my boy, Nicky Markakis.
Especially from a guy who has played the game the right way his whole career. No shortcuts. I know how hard this game is. I know how hard preparing for this game is, and to see something like that, it's damaging to baseball. It's anger. I feel like every single guy over there needs a beating.
That was it. That's all that needs to be said.
That's
I feel
great.
like every guy over there needs a beating, which is fantastic. That is like a fantastic quote. And it looked like the look on his face looked like he wanted to personally give them that beating.
Yeah.
Like he was not happy. Not happy at all.
I have to tell you, I can't wait for baseball season to start because I am so curious as to, like, right out of the gates, I want to see if teams go after the Astros. Are they going to get hit like first batter? And you know there's going to be bench clearing brawls. There are going to be bench clearing brawls this year because that team is going to. I'm sorry.
If the Astros were smart, they would just take the hit and move on.
Move on.
Just walk to first and don't even look at the pitcher.
Right.
Just know that you deserve that.
Yeah. Yep.
Damien just said he's running out of earmuffs.
Well, too fucking bad. There's another one.
All right. So
there's another pair.
All right. Let's get on. We're gonna get into some Yankee talk real quick because we do have a little.
The state of the Yankees.
Oh, we're picking up right where we left off last year. The state of injured, wounded, MASH unit New York Yankees. Here we go.
We're gonna talk about the Yanks. We got Yankees starting off the next man up slogan awfully early this year with lots of injuries in the spring, and they're it's not like they're not important because they are very big names here. We got Paxton, which we knew about. Judge has an injury that he's going to miss some time. Sevy is also dealing with that forearm issue still.
That one I think is going to be bad.
So to me,
that reeks of Tommy John.
No, well, I don't know about Tommy John because he's had so many like MRIs done and they've all come back clean. My bigger worry is that there's something else that's going on, and it might be just a degenerative disease, a muscular disease. It could be something even worse. And that's what makes me nervous. I don't know. I haven't talked to any like doctors or anything about this, but like just from what I am hearing, this could be a permanent issue that he has going forward. And the only way to manage it might be to have him just be a reliever, really cut back his innings and see if that can help.
Well, because he's saying that the pain is only happening with one pitch, right?
His changeup.
His changeup, because that's where
and you typically only need two pitches as a reliever.
Where you're
going the opposite way. Yeah.
Going the opposite way around. This would be like a curveball, and then
so opposite way is a changeup. And you can have.
There's a word for that. It starts with a P. I can't remember what it's called, but when you
pronate.
Yes, that's it. Pronate. Thank you.
The other you can have straight changeups. You know, Greg Maddux was a master at the straight changeup. You can do that, and you don't have to, rotate your wrist that way. That is a particular like circle change almost. Like,
but that's where he's saying he's having the pain is on that pitch.
Right. So if he wants to continue to throw a changeup, he's going to have to develop a different changeup, and that might mean a straight change, and that is putting more of the ball back in your palm and having it go and, and doing things like that. I mean, there's definitely other ways to develop a changeup. Right. So we have that. That to me is the biggest injury here but the thing that I was talking about with my buddy Mark, who texted me about it, I said, he's like, this sucks. He's like, I'm so over with the Yankee injuries. And I'm like, it's not really affecting me. We had over the last several years, you have to be accustomed to this now. Not just on the Yankees, on a lot of teams, but the Yankees in general, because that's the one that we follow the most. You have to understand Judge is going to miss somewhere between 2 to 6 weeks every year. Gary Sanchez is going to miss 2 months every year. You have Sevy's going to miss half a season almost every year. Tanaka's going to miss several starts every year. Paxton's going to miss about 10 starts every year. All these guys, all of them, are going to miss time. They all are injury prone now. Aaron Hicks is going to miss a month. Like, they're all injury prone. Every single one of them. They all miss time. You know, Gleyber Torres, if he was a little bit older and dealing with the crap that he had to deal with last year, he would have missed time. But he's young, so he heals quick and he can fight through the pain right now. You can't do that when you're 27, 28, 29, 30.
Do you realize that as of right now, Chad Bettis is probably going to be the Yankees' 5th starter? And that's like a scrap heap guy that they picked up last week. Yeah. I mean, that guy's probably going to be their 5th starter. Because right now, your rotation will be, assuming he doesn't get hurt between now and March 26th, will be Cole 1, Tanaka 2. And Tanaka we always worry about, because we always just worry about, like, at some point, that something in the arm is just going to snap and it's going to be done. And then after that, you're looking at Happ, Gumby, and then probably Bettis. I mean, seriously, that I'm not joking. Do I look like I'm joking? I'm not joking. I mean, that's probably what the Yankees rotation will be right now. Can you imagine? Thank God they actually didn't trade J. Happ. Like, holy shit. We would have had a serious problem. I mean, unless they want to, I also wouldn't mind seeing one of the kids from the minors, Garcia, maybe Davy Garcia, getting a shot.
It doesn't matter. Any of them, really. It's a 5th starter.
King. Isn't there some other guy, Clark Schmidt or something like that?
It's a 5th starter. It's not the end of the world.
I know, but I mean, we really did not want to lose 40% of your rotation.
You don't. You never do. But the Yankees fought through
especially
it last
when
year.
those guys are like your 2 and your 3. Although
the Yankees fought through it last year, and they have plenty of offense this year. Stanton starting off healthy. Sanchez is going to be like, they have plenty of offense to help offset it during the regular season. It's really when you get to the postseason that you really need to make sure you're healthy. And that's why that's another reason why it doesn't bother me that much. Like, but I don't care.
You also have to get to the postseason.
Right. But I'm not that worried, because if you can slug your way in the regular season to the postseason, not that worried about it. During the regular season, you can slug your way there. Plenty of teams have proven that throughout the time. It's not always the case how you can win it, but because you have to have the pitching always steps up in the playoffs. So you got to be able to. You have to do that unless you're cheating, of course. Then you can always hit, especially at home. I mean, that 2017 home and away split is incredible.
Yeah, So Damian chimed in about Schmidt, and he said he's a really nice prospect. He's not ready yet, though. Yeah, I suspect he's not, and I suspect Davy Garcia's really not ready yet either. So, I mean, he'll get a shot. Just because of all these injuries. I mean, these guys are going to get chances in spring training. But I suspect that. I really do think it's going to be Bettis. I think he's going to be their 5 going in. I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this Sevy injury, though. Like, really bad. Like, bad. I don't know about career-ending bad, but maybe at least season-ending bad. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Like it.
It's one of those...
It's not what you want.
It's going to happen.
Like, at least we know Paxton's going to miss, 5 starts. Okay, big deal.
It's going to happen. If it happens this year, it happens this year. If it happens next year, it happens next year. I mean, it's... His arm is eventually going to give out on him. Unless they just really manage his innings and they only do him 20 starts a year. Yeah. Is he worth that?
And listen, Herman kind of fucked him too, because he's an asshole.
Well, yeah. I mean, but he'll be back in the
fucking
summer.
Guy's lucky. Fucking guy's lucky.
July?
He's lucky he wasn't cut.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. That's all I'll say. There's a ton going on, but I think that they're going to be okay.
Yeah, and I know they made a lot of changes to their medical staff and everything in the offseason because of everything that happened last year. I mean, when you have 30 plus guys go on IL, but this is, listen, again, from the old optics perspective, this is not a good start. It's not a good start.
No. All right, so that's pretty much it for our Yankee talk. If you have anything you want to sound off on with the Yankees, how they're getting injured in spring already. How worried are you about the Yankees going into the regular season? I honestly am not that worried right now. I'd be more worried if this was all coming up in August or July, around the All-Star break, a little after the All-Star break. Then I'd be worried. But until then, I'm not really that worried.
That first, you know what's going to happen. That first inning down in Baltimore, bottom of the first, Garrett Cole's going to throw a fat fastball to Trey Mancini, who's going to hit it 416 feet, and I'm going to have a little fucking hissy fit. That's what's going to happen. Trey Mancini is going to fucking go deep, and I'm going to lose my mind.
Yankee killer, Trey Mancini.
I love Trey Mancini. Love him.
All right.
Love that guy.
Let's move on. Let's move on to... Yes, we're going to be talking a little football. We have some stuff to talk about. I think the Brian Man's going to get into this more than I will. I haven't really followed it too much. NFL, when the NFL offseason comes on, I kind of tune it out a little bit. There's a lot of noise that happens that I don't really care about. And there's a lot of, I don't really care about the drafts that much. There are usually about 10 to 15 players that come into the draft that really make impacts in the league, whether it's on offense or defense. But ultimately, I'm not really all that intrigued. I can keep up enough to still have my legs underneath me at the start of the season.
I'll give you the lowdown on what's going on
well,
here.
So the NFL owners ratify the CBA. There's some stuff going on with like marijuana tests and all that kind of stuff. And how often they can be tested for marijuana. They can't be suspended for marijuana, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if there was nothing in there about fines, but there was nothing about suspension, I think, about marijuana. But then there was other stuff about like length of seasons and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of issues in there.
Josh Gordon needs this to happen.
Yes, seriously. Talk about a guy that needs this to happen.
It does.
I would just pay my fine and just, continue to talk. I mean, it doesn't seem to really hurt him, except for the fact that
it's not
he
a
can't play the
performance
sport he
enhancer
wants.
either.
No, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Does it calm you down? Maybe.
Well, it could be a pain reliever though, right? I mean, marijuana is used for a lot of cancer patients use.
Yeah, I mean it's pain, but it's also like to eat, like so they can get their appetite back as well. But,
yeah.
So there are issues. I mean, I guess it might be a pain relieving thing, but it's not. It's definitely not long term. Like you're gonna feel the effects in the game. Like it's not gonna be. You can't like smoke a joint right before the game, go out there and play, and feel good. I don't know.
Yeah.
And play well. Like and eventually it's gonna hit you.
I would never have a problem with it. I wouldn't care.
It's such a low level thing.
Just
like
keep people off the performance enhancers.
Yes, exactly.
I mean,
pain management is fine.
Shit is legal now.
Yes,
let it go.
In most places, yeah.
And you're hearing that from a person who's never once even had a drag, and I could not care less about people smoking it or athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be legal in every sport.
If it's not performance enhancing, I couldn't care less.
Yeah, it should be legal in every sport. I think they should just move on. I'd like to hear what other people have to think about that too. Do you think it should be legal or do you think it should be illegal in sports? Do you think it's like a pain management thing that is not negative? I think it's definitely more gentle on you than the cortisone shots that everybody takes all the time. I mean, that's.
And you know what? If it is a pain relieving kind of thing, so what? Yeah. Fuck, players need that shit, man.
Advil, Tylenol.
Yeah, come on, that's
cortisone shots. I mean, getting needles shoved into your knee and squirting it all that stuff.
First of all, the stuff is now legal. It is now legal in certain states. So I don't see why. And look, if you're an NFL player and you've already got it really rough, if the substance is legal and it's not performance enhancing, why wouldn't you allow your player, if it helps? And for some people, it probably wouldn't even help anyway. Everybody's body reacts differently to stuff. So just because you're toking doesn't mean that, it's going to help you with pain relief, but maybe it will. But if it's a natural herbal way to do so, man, why not? Who cares? Especially in that sport. It's fucking brutal. Let a guy smoke up, man.
All right. Shit. So I would like to hear. So let's get into. I'd like to hear from everybody else if they think.
By the way,
or not. In all sports, not just in football, but football, baseball, basketball, soccer, all of them. Like, what do you think?
I saw this the other day. This is really funny. I actually have. So I actually have a because I have a lot of signed mini helmets, but I have a Ricky Williams signed one. But he didn't inscribe this on the one I have. He just wrote, signed his signature, and he wrote the year that he won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Because I like to collect like Heisman winning guys. So, but
That's
if
cool.
you go online and look up like Ricky Williams signed helmets, he inscribes a lot of mini helmets with "smoke weed every day." It's great.
Weed every day.
Smoke weed every day.
All right. So
Awesome.
Dr. Dre, smoke weed every day. All right. Let's get into, because JJ Watt came out and he already said, he basically voiced his opinion and said hard pass, basically.
Well,
no thanks, firm no for me.
So let's get into some of the other things that this CBA will bring along with it, because the marijuana thing is one, but the big pieces are this. So for starters, the NFL season would be expanded to 17 games. So you're adding another game, which means you prorate have to pay players more as well. So there's more which will increase the salary cap, but because players have to get paid more. These guys aren't doing this shit for free, nor should they, especially in with this particular sport. It will add another layer to the playoffs. So there will be a 7th team added in each conference. So now you're adding 2 more playoff teams, one in the AFC,
and then you have a bye, right?
And then the 1 seed gets a bye.
Right.
Which means 2 through 7 play each other on Saturday and Sunday, starting the playoffs. This probably, now it also reduces, thank God, the preseason by a game, because the NFL preseason is such straight garbage anyway. All it does is get people.
Also reduces the amount of contact they can have and practices they can do and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So there are fewer full pad practices, I think, is how they put it, which also does not bode well for like the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season. They're going to just be really bad. They're going to be really bad games.
Huffing and puffing.
It's not going to be great.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of now there. I believe there might also be something in here about the players having health care after their career. I think. I'm not sure about that, but I think that might be part of it. But yes, so to your point, though, J.J. Watt and so far Richard Sherman are both heavily against this. Now, it was ratified, not unanimously by the owners, but for the most part, it passed with flying colors through ownership. And so J.J. Watt went out there yesterday and said, hard no on that proposed CBA. Richard Sherman retweeted him and commented, leadership, I am with you. Please communicate with your team rep. So right now you've got 2 very prominent players in the NFL saying, no thanks. Probably doesn't bode well. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the Players Association is good, but listen, the Players Association represents the players. So if they choose not to ratify it, you taking pictures of me or some shit? No. If they choose not to ratify it,
you wish.
This shit ain't happening. So I don't know. But that is not a good start for this getting ratified. And honestly, I'm in the middle on this. I don't know how I feel about it. For one, I don't really know what value that extra game adds, other than putting more money in owners' pockets, because they, for at least one of those teams, you get an extra home game and you're selling out a stadium and you're filling it with a bunch of drunks and, chicken basket eating fat asses. So, I mean, I get that perspective. For the players' perspective, okay, yeah, if they get paid a little bit more, that's all well and good, but does that mean? But that also means that they're going to be taking more bumps. Another week of more bumps. Now, if you were to say, and I don't know if it's in there, but if you were to say that this CBA includes an additional bye week, I'd be okay with that. And I think maybe that
would extend the season so long.
Yeah, but I think that's what the NFL wants to do, though. I think the NFL NFL.
Of course. I mean, the more games they play, the more money they make.
I think the NFL, if they had their druthers, if they had it their way, I think they would 100% want the season to end on President's Day weekend. So like this past weekend, where the Super Bowl would play on Sunday and then you'd have the day off on Monday. And then almost immediately, within a month, within a few weeks, then you're boom right into free agency, and then boom right after that you've got the draft, and then you've literally only got like what, April to May, May to June, June, July. You've got like 3 or 4 months. Actually, because the draft is in late April, you'd really only have May, June, July, and then you're into August and you're already talking about preseason football again. You only would have 3 months off from the football season, essentially.
Yeah, I'd be worried if I was like one of the NFL.
Well,
I'd be worried that you get NFL fatigue. Because as of right now, you're also going to have NFL, and then you're going to have that XFL that's coming out. Like, there's going to be so much football going on.
Listen. I have enjoyed the XFL so far. I've actually kind of watched a couple of games, and I'm rooting for Houston, who I believe is 2-0. But you can't expect the XFL to last. I'm sorry. It'll be lucky if it does. And if it does,
how are the ratings?
Well, they already took a pretty big drop from week 1 to week 2.
Well, yeah,
But that's very similar to what happened 20 years ago when Vince McMahon tried.
That happens in all leagues, though. I mean, all leagues, all shows, everything. Like you get 90 million views on the opening weekend, and then it drops down. But you have to really look at where the views are going to be at like week 4, 5, 6. Like that's when you really got to look, see how it is, and that's kind of your medium. Like that's where you're going to be at that's where you should be at. If you keep seeing a decline, and even after week 2, you'll see a decline, but then you're going to find your core audience. So I guess that's what we'll have to see is where the median comes, like where that middle line of the road comes, and
so Mike
see if they can actually compete.
Mike Garafolo, who I think works for the NFL Network, he said, here's some added details on the CBA being voted on by players today. Playoff expansion is pretty much tied to CBA approval, so likely no expansion this year if players don't approve the deal. The 17th game would not be an international game for every team. It would be a cap. There would be a cap on total international games.
I know they hate those international games.
Yes,
so much travel.
It's a lot of travel, yeah, and it's a lot of work. I can understand why they wouldn't like that either. But
I understand the benefit for the sport, but I also understand that it's not what you want.
No.
As a player, it's not what you want.
I don't know. I mean, just listen. I don't want to. Let's not jump the gun here. Yes, you've got 2 prominent players who have spoken out about this, but I don't want to. I don't know that these 2 guys speak for everybody. But it's not a good start.
No,
it's not a good start in terms of trying to get this thing approved by the players.
No. So I don't know what the players are looking for. It'll be interesting to see what they come back with. And then, I mean, this has to be done within a week, right? Doesn't it have to be done within like 10 days or something, or 7 days or something? It has to be done. It has to be done quick.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So the players union.
Well, that's why the vote's
quick.
Today.
Yeah, they're going to come back real quick. And they'll say no, and then they're going to have to basically counter, I assume, and then see what's going on, or at least say, hey, we didn't like that. Adjust this, and then we'll talk. And we'll see what happens, and if they can meet in the middle, because typically baseball has the best union. The players, the NFL players union usually rolls over. We'll see how that happens. What happens with them this time? It seems like J.J. Watt is trying, and Richard Sherman, 2 smart guys, 2 guys who do
smart,
a lot
powerful voices
inside sports and outside of sports. Yeah. It'll be nice to see what they can do and what they can accomplish if they can. They can keep everybody together.
These are very influential players speaking out. These aren't just 2 average Joes,
I mean, Richard Sherman is probably one of the smartest guys in football.
Right.
And J.J. Watt he's a very intelligent guy. He was one of the best defensive linemen in a long time. And then on top of that, he also is.
These are both like Walter Payton Man of the Year kind of guys. So
NFL and charity work. Like he is a tremendous person. So
it's not a good start for the owners to have these 2 guys speaking out against you.
And I'm sure there's going to be other big names that are going to come out and say something too. But there's going to be a lot of people that are just like, we need the money. We can't have a lockout, And that's where the union comes into play, and we'll see what happens. All right. So do you want to mention anything else about the NFL?
No.
You good? All right. So let's get out of the NFL, and now we're going to go on to something that the Bry Man likes to talk about every once in a while, usually on Fridays, and that is Funko Friday. And that also has to deal with.
Where do you think you're going? I'm going to sort it out.
Now, before you get into the Funko, I just want to say, this coming Monday, we're going to be doing our top 5 most anticipated movies for 2020. Obviously, we're in February already, but a lot of trash gets thrown out in January and February. Although there have been some good ones. I heard the Harley Quinn movie was pretty good.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that yet.
Bad Boys was pretty good, from what I understand. I haven't seen them, but
I'm
I've
going to
heard
see a
those are pretty
movie.
good.
I'm going to see a movie tonight that is, I believe, right now sitting at 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What is it?
Fantasy Island.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard about it. Don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I know it's based on the show, but it's supposed to be a horror adaptation.
A
right?
horror,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. It's a little bit better, I think, from the audience perspective, but they're sitting at like 46%, but 10% with critics. So
That's awesome. All right,
every once in a while.
So yeah, we'll be giving our 2020 movie most anticipated for list for that. We're going to top 5 each going into for 2020. That's what we'll do on Monday, and then also I wanted to post this because I just saw it. I opened up Instagram, and this thing looks fantastic. Look at this picture. You'll see it pop up on your screen in a minute. They did a fan art. I think it was Tony Stark meeting Mr. Fantastic. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. John Krasinski meeting John Krasinski meeting Robert Downey Jr. in uniform. It looks so good. And the art is just phenomenal. It would be amazing to find a way to do a flashback where they can meet and do something similar like this, because talk about two guys who are on a different planet when it comes to a mental capacity. But I really like that. That was a cool little thing that I saw. I think Screen Rant posted it on.
Is John Krasinski going to be Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah.
Did I miss?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay.
I believe. Well, I don't know if it's 100%, but that's what they're saying. I'll look
So
it
they're
up right now. While you're talking Funko,
they're giving
I'll look it up.
they're giving the Fantastic Four another run, huh?
Oh,
I guess
yeah.
they're gonna. Oh, wow. Well, the third time's the charm. I hope.
Yeah.
Although I have to admit, I did not hate the first ones.
I didn't mind the most recent one. They dropped the ball in certain areas, but I think that was more a studio issue.
I struggled with that
director.
one, but I actually didn't mind the first two. You know, the ones that had Jessica Alba was in those,
They were
and Chris
campy.
Evans.
They were campy.
Chris Evans was the Human Torch, and
The Silver Surfer one was. They were campy and fine.
yeah. Silver Surfer was voiced by Lawrence Fishburne, right?
The problem is it was going with, you're kind of going up against like the X-Men, which were like dark and gritty and awesome.
Yeah.
And like that, you can't really.
I didn't hate those though.
Yeah.
I didn't hate them, but I also understand why they were.
So Krasinski wants to play Marvel.
Oh.
Wants Marvel to let him play Mr. Fantastic, but it hasn't been. I think. It hasn't been confirmed yet.
I can see it.
I think it'd be
Okay.
phenomenal.
Funko Friday.
He's a
Very
good actor.
I'm very excited about this because this just came out, and I bought 3 of them because I'm an idiot. It is a Walmart exclusive only, although ironically, I didn't get it at Walmart. I got it right off of the website for the product.
Yeah.
This just came out, brand new. The one, the only, the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I was gonna say Hulk Hogan.
A brand new Funko Pop.
Now let me tell you something, brother.
With his Python Power bandana and ripping the shirt off.
I like it.
There's a hold on. Where's this? There you go. There's a good look at what it looks like. Yeah, this is a beauty.
That's a good one. I like
This
it.
is a beauty. Now, I also got with this order another one. So, for those of you who are into wrestling, because I know we've got a couple of guys, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, who is one of my favorite characters. So this was funny. I pulled this one out of the box, and Lex was like looking, and Lex got all freaked out. But this is the Fiend Bray Wyatt. This is the most recent iteration of Bray Wyatt's character. The Fiend Bray Wyatt. And so Lex looks at him, and he's like, ooh, scary. But the best part, though, was when I took the Hogan one out, and, not surprisingly, I didn't even have to say what or who it was. I just showed it to him, and he's like, oh, Hulk Hogan.
See him in the background, right by your left
I was
ear.
like, oh. Yep, there he is. Right.
And then he's over your
There
left shoulder
and there.
too.
Well, that's Hollywood Hogan,
Yeah.
and then yes, there's
Oh
yes.
man, because Hollywood. I mean, I gotta do.
Oh, you got a little Jimmy? You got a little Jimmy?
Is it?
'Cause
It's not Voodoo Child, is it? No, what is it? Is it?
Oh, yes, it is.
it?
Oh, it is Voodoo Child. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When Melissa and I were first introduced as Mr. and Mrs. Brian Christina at our wedding,
It was great. Talk about it turning from good to heel. Like that was hero
Now,
to heel.
I should
Nobody
point
did
out.
it better.
I should point out back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Damien is still with us. Damien and I can't remember. There were a couple of others. We went to a taping of a live show of Monday night WCW Nitro, Monday Nitro, at the Hartford Civic Center.
Yeah.
Okay, and I went in full regalia as Hollywood Hogan, and Damien went full regalia dressed as Sting. And so we did this. So we did this thing, right? We're going up. We're going in the lobby, and I went up the escalator, and people, like, there were hundreds of people below in the lobby, and they all see me dressed full Hogan, and you got a bunch of people cheering me and a bunch of people booing me, right? So I get up, and I don't even remember what I was saying. I was just like talking all kinds of Hogan-esque trash to like the crowd below. And, and then all of a sudden I hear all of them like getting really loud and cheering because Damien was behind me, sneaking up on me dressed as Sting. And then I think Damien and I had like a fake fight where I'm pretty sure I put him over,
Yeah.
because everybody was, into Sting and everyone hated Hogan, but we had a fun time. That was great because there were literally... Oh, I did full Hogan fear, but before that, I was doing the posing and everything. Yeah. Oh, I was doing the full thing. It was getting a big reaction. It was great. Yes, up on the balcony. That's exactly what we were doing. It was awesome. There were literally hundreds of people below cheering. It was so cool.
That's epic. That's awesome. Good memories.
It was.
That's pretty much it for our show today. We're going to be coming back on Monday. We'll see what the weekend takes us, and what it gives us for Monday's show. But we will be definitely coming with the top 5 of 2020 for movies. We'll do that. We'll definitely be getting some sports on. I'm sure we'll hear more about the CBA and how that goes, and we'll talk about that maybe a little on Monday. And who knows what else is going to happen with all of this MLB stuff. I'll be anxious to find out what's going on with that.
I remember that too. Yes, we did do that. We went up and down the aisles during boring matches too. Yes, that was so funny. Oh my God, I forgot some of the details. That was great. That was just we were out of our minds. We were just kids.
That's awesome.
We were just dumb kids. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
All right, so if there's anything you guys want us to talk about, go ahead and let us know in the comments, and we will talk about it hopefully on Monday. If not, we'll get to it hopefully at a later episode. But you can also put it, if it's not live, you can also put it on the show in the comments there. We actually just noticed, we got I sent you the picture last night when I saw it pop up, was someone who commented on one of our older shows about I think it was the Baltimore Ravens fans. It was a rant that you had about Baltimore Ravens fans.
Yeah, I was trying to remember why was I mad at Ravens fans?
I don't remember, but you can go back because I think I have just the clip. So you could go back and look at it. But the guy said, this guy, Butch Black, he came out and said...
Butch Black, that's a great name, by the way.
He said, trash city, trash town.
Well, it's not often that people support
So Butch Black
my opinions.
is definitely in agreement with you.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. So
I don't remember what it was. It was something. I don't remember what it was. I do remember being mad at the Ravens fans, though, for like a hot minute.
Yeah. Damien said you also had your belt with you, too.
I did. Oh, I had the belt. I had the feather boas. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. That's the Bry Man for you.
It was great.
Halloween. He gets in all full ensemble.
I've basically dressed as the Undertaker every year for the past God knows how many years.
Maybe just change that up.
No, that's tradition.
Go.
When he officially does hang it up and retire, then I will too. And I thought that had happened, actually.
The Blundertaker?
Yeah, I thought that
if you want to go
happened.
check out some Blundertaker stuff. Is that on the Cinebros stuff? Is that on the Cinebros page? It might be.
Yeah. Yeah, because one of our videos has like...
Oh, it has tons of views, yeah.
Many thousands of views.
Yeah. It was fun. That was fun.
That was
when you were going from the Miami Dolphins, and basically attacking the Patriots and all that stuff.
Yes.
And you were telling the Patriots they were going to go to hell.
And we walked through cemeteries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
there
did
was some pretty decent production value behind that video.
I did the filming and editing on that, and
Yeah.
I mean that was, oh my gosh, that was what, like 5 years ago?
Oh, it might have been longer than that.
It was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I guess it would. Yeah, no, that's probably right. That's probably
We
right.
were in our 30s. We were in our mid 30s when that happened. We are now in our early 40s.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, if you want to go to that, you can go check out that stuff. Even Chad posted something recently on Facebook. He tagged me in it, like, because one of our Deadpool things got taken down for some reason, and it was due to a copyright issue with some thing. But I was like, I'm not trying to monetize these things, so I went back and looked. It seemed like it got reposted after I, clicked a couple buttons and stuff like that. It seemed like everything worked out. So we'll see. But yeah, there's lots of videos on there, lots of movie stuff. I was 60 pounds heavier, and
yeah,
I was quite a bit heavier at that time, and but it was fun. I enjoyed that. That was great. That was a great time. That was a great 3 years of movie talk.
it was a lot. It was a lot of fun.
It was. Yeah, we Skyped you in on the wall on the wall. Actually, the opening clip that when you get to the Cinebros page is the one that
Should we do it? Should we do it like a one-time reunion show?
That'd be tough. That'd be tough
Why?
getting everybody together. That'd be tough.
You and Chad?
Brandon was involved a little bit too. My brother.
I think we could pull that. Oh, come on! I think we could pull that off.
I haven't seen my brother in like 3 months. He's off making movies and stuff like that right now, working and making.
The Judge.
Yeah,
he's busy.
He's doing some stuff.
Busy.
Doing some stuff. Trying to get some movies made. Coming up, he's written a bunch of scripts. All that.
I think that would be fun though.
Yeah.
If we could get you, Chad, Blade, and the Judge.
It'd be tough to get to like we can't. It's gonna be tough to get all in one room. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the space for that really. And
even if it was
want it to be
Skype.
chintzy.
No, I know.
That's my problem. My problem is I can't have it look like terrible.
Yeah.
It has to look decent. I don't want to be sitting at a dining room table, with family pictures in the background. Got to have some kind of production value. That's why I had all that whole studio space set up.
Well, why don't we do it in a restaurant? We get like a booth, have some drinks, talk movies, talk whatever.
Oh gosh, I haven't watched enough movies. I watch like
fun.
10 movies now. 10 movies a year now. That was a point. I would watch somewhere between 120 and 160 movies every year. And I did that for 3 years.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And that was like new movies. That wasn't like old movies that I would revisit.
Right.
That was new movies.
Right. Yeah.
So I had a whole notebook that was filled, and I would just like, this is the one I watched here, this is the one I watched here, and this is my rating, and this is it, and I would do the whole thing. It was a time-consuming process.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money. Thankfully, we got to see a lot of movies for free. I would say probably about 30%, 40% of the movies, 30% probably I saw for free.
Yeah.
Going to those screenings and stuff. But oh my gosh, it was a fun time. Wouldn't give it back. Wouldn't trade it back. It was good times. Although I wish I was lighter. Going to the movies and getting all that popcorn, drinking beer afterward. Like, it's just,
It's a killer.
Yeah.
It's a lot of calories.
Yeah. Definitely. All right.
Fucking A.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, listening, however you took it in. We will see you guys Monday for our show around 10-ish. And yeah. We'll see you when we see you.
And speaking of Tony Stark and Mr. Fantastic, to quote the great Tony Stark, the dead Tony Stark. It's gone now. But part of the journey is the end, so we've come to the end of the show. But we will see you on Monday, and stay classy, Planet Globe.
Peace.
That's all I can say.
Bye.